What up, bitches? Welcome back to Law of Attraction Changed My Life. I am your host, Francesca Amber, and I'm here to give you a goddamn reality check this week. Now, you may not be ready for this, but get ready because there's no time like the present. We're 6 months into the goddamn year. It's 2025. In 6 months' time, we are basically halfway through the year. If you don't know, get to know. And you know what that means? It is time to lovingly and gently, but also forcefully reflect on the goals that you made in January and revisit the vision that you made for your life for 2024. Now, if you are a New Year's goal hoe like me, you will have made a vision for yourself this year. You will have written a list of goals, things you wanted to achieve in 2024. And like I said, we are halfway through, bitches. So it's time to get real with yourself. Now, if you did the New Year's party with me, good for you. Good for you. It's my favorite day of the year. I think it's my third year of doing it and I fucking love it. It's literally my favorite day of the year. Now, if you did that with me, go back to the workbook that you completed. And if you didn't do it with me, firstly, how rude. Secondly, I forgive you. Go back to wherever you keep your New Year's resolutions or your New Year's goals list for 2024. Now, some people like to set goals every new moon and have a monthly cycle of keeping themselves accountable. And I love that for them. I used to do that when I did Manifest with the Moon. And I've got to be honest, I have really fallen out of touch of doing that. For some of us, every 29 days comes way too soon. But I do love a good once a quarter or a halfway through the year check-in. And guess what? That time is now. So the first thing you want to do is go through your goal list for 2024 and tick off anything that you have already achieved. So there will be things on there that you've achieved and it will feel so great and you can highlight them, tick them off, cross them out, whatever feels good to you. Now, as you tick off these items, I want you to be really honest with yourself about whether the process of or actually achieving that goal, so it's the process of or actually achieving, has improved your life. Or was it really surprising? And did it give you a really empty feeling? Like when you achieved it, were you like, oh, is this it? Like a little bit of deflation. And you can use this information to set future goals, or it might simply be the message to simply enjoy the journey more. So enjoying the journey of manifesting, enjoying the process and the journey of creating your dream life. It might be a little note to yourself being like, yo, bitch, it ain't about the destination. It's about the journey. And that sounds so cliche, but it's something that we're talking about in the book club at the moment. And it's really ringing true to me. Like it is the process of manifesting. It's the process of the strategy, of the energy work, of the being like, yes, I'm going to fucking make this happen. That often is as enjoyable, if not more, than the end result. That's why normally when we achieve something, we don't just say, right, that's it, I'm done, I'm here, I don't need to manifest anything else in my life. We make new goals all the time because the enjoyment is in the process. But look, I get caught up like the best of us, being hung up on the outcome, being hung up on the result and being like, I need to see the result. I want it to happen now. For me, I see that in my work a lot. I this year got signed to a publicist, like a PR company. And that was a massive goal of mine. But I still find myself being like, bigger things should be happening. Like it should be happening now. I should be on this. I should be doing that. I should have written my book. It should have been published. And I'm forgetting that actually the joy is in the process. The joy is in the journey. So we can all fall into that trap sometimes. So ticking off everything that you've already achieved and being honest with yourself of whether that really improved your life or it gave you a bit of an empty feeling like, why the fuck did I manifest that? So I'll give you a little insight. For me, one of my first goals, it sounds really I don't know, I think it sounds lame, but it actually was quite a big goal for me. It was really expensive to do. It actually cost more than like my deposit on my first flat in London, but was to get gates put on my driveway and to get my driveway done. So to basically get the whole front of my house like sorted the fuck out. And the reason for that was not because I wanted to keep up with the Joneses and my next door neighbours had really nice electric gates put in. It was not because of that. It wasn't because I wanted people to drive past my house and be like, oh, fancy. It was because I live on actually it's not a busy road, but it's a road that people speed down, unfortunately. And I did not feel safe having my children outside the home. And it was such a shame because I've got a beautiful front garden. The sun sets at the front. So in the evening, I love to have the front door open and just have the sun streaming in. And I had this vision of like the girls scooting up and down the driveway and driving their little car around the front garden. And I had it done. And that is exactly what's happened. It has really improved our lives. It's something that's quite small, but it actually affects our daily lives. Often we'll come home and we'll get out the car and they'll say, can we scoot or can we get the car out? And I say, sure. And I shut the gates, everyone's secure. And they spend a good half an hour to an hour outside in the fresh air being active. And I love that. I love that for us. I really wanted to go to the Caribbean. This was a really big goal of mine. I've not been to the Caribbean as an adult. And as my daughter is half Caribbean, I really, really wanted to go and show her that and experience it with her. And so we went there, we did that. I wanted to do more speaking events and festivals. Well, I'm going to a festival next week and I'm speaking at Happy Place twice this year, both different venues. So I've done that. I put that I wanted to write a book. I was speaking to Penguin at the beginning of the year. Like there were real plans in motion and then it all kind of just fizzled out and like I've just not made any moves. So that's something for me to really like kind of pick back up. And another one was love. This was all stuff that I'd kind of set as intentions for the first half of the year, right? I really wanted to make moves with finding love and inviting love into my life. And I have not really made any moves on this at all. Just recently, I've started to take small actions like regularly going onto Hinge, regularly replying to people, actually getting to the WhatsApp stage, getting to the dick pic stage. No, I'm joking. There's no dick pic stage. She's a classy lady. She ain't making moves like that, okay? Not this time. But I've not really been putting in enough energy or action on this front. And I know that although I don't really feel like it right now, my future self, when I'm doing this again on January the 1st, 2025, future me really won't thank me for not taking the time or the energy to make space for love in my life. So this is why it's so good to go back through your goals and why it's amazing to revisit all of the stuff that you wrote down, all of the goals that you set out when you sat there and you thought about what you wanted for the year ahead, the vision you made for your life. It's great to go and revisit it and be like, where am I living in alignment with that? And where am I not? Now, there may be some things on that list that simply don't resonate anymore or don't feel like the right timing. And it is absolutely okay to release things that don't feel in alignment. And this makes space for things that matter more. So be aware when you are releasing things, if it's not the right timing or, doesn't feel in alignment anymore, or if it's genuinely that you are just scared or you don't know how to start. So it's really honest when you are dismissing things from your list. Be honest with yourself. Is this no longer in alignment for me? Is it not the right timing? Or is it just that I'm scared and I don't know how to start? A great example for me would be, I definitely see myself moving somewhere. I have no idea where, but in the future. And this is something we talk about when we set our New Year's goals, is not every year is for everything. There may be certain years where you need comfort and security and family and friends and support. Maybe you've just had a new baby. Maybe you've just become single for the first time in a long time and you need that support and comfort. There are other years when you need to rest and you really need to renew and restore. There are other years where you need to make big, bold fucking moves. And it's okay to be in a year where it's not time to make that big change. For me personally, with 3 very young children, it is not the year for me to make any big moves like that. It's not the year for me to make huge changes. I need to have the comfort and security of my support network. And it's beautiful to be in this season of my life. So this is something that we won't get into all now because we're halfway through the year, but recognizing the season of your life and what your year is, that's like a really important thing to do. So when we did the New Year's Day party, we set our goals out over the year in 4 quarters. So we have 4 quarters of the year, a little bit like we're financial accountants. And so having ticked off items that you've already achieved, got rid of anything that feels out of alignment. Obviously, we've gone past those first 2 quarters and they may be seasonal goals, so we're going to say goodbye to those. And we're halfway through the year. You should be left with a much smaller list of goals. And remember, your goals are just stepping stones that are getting you towards your overall vision for your life. So the goals are not the end goal. They are just the little stepping stones that are going to get you to where you want to be and the life that you want to consciously be living. So now we have this smaller list of goals. That's great because you can hyper focus in on this stuff a little bit more. Back in the day when I first started manifesting with very, very specific results, I really could only focus on 1, maybe 2 things at a time. But there's really no right way to do this. Currently, I'm reading a book by Noor Hibbert, and she says that you really should be focusing on all areas of your life at once, because there's no point in being spectacularly rich if you have terrible health and you can't enjoy it. There's no point in having great success in your business if you have no good relations, no friends or family to share your life and your success with. So yes, it's important to have well-rounded goals and to focus on all areas of your life. But I do personally, for me, I find it very helpful to hyper focus on one area and really like fucking make that shit happen. Do you know what I mean? So take a look at those goals you have left. Which ones are sticking out to you that you could make action on right away? Now, just while I was writing the notes for this podcast, I noticed that I really wanted to get my sitting room done. It's the last room in my house that's not done. And it's ironic because we spend the majority of our time in there. And so I messaged my builder. Do you know what? He called me. He was like, Fran, I'm round the corner. I can be round in 10 minutes and I'll measure up. And I was like, absolutely fantastic, Graham. I'll see you in a minute. That shit is getting underway. I recognise that we are in summer. We are in the season of saying yes to life and being abundant. And so I messaged my sister and I was like, look, come on, let's get these dates together for when we're having a road trip to Essex and going to see our friends. And let's get the dates together when we're going to Cornwall. Just certain things where I'm like, right, let's actually make this shit happen. So you'll be amazed when you have this small list of goals left, the action you can take to start putting things into motion straight away. Take a look once more at the timeline of things. If there are goals that you need to start saving for, things you need to start booking or putting the wheels into motion, take a look at the timelines and how you can make sure that you meet those timelines to live your best fucking life. So for me, like I just said, I want to get my sitting room done. It's such a depressing room. It's like just got holes in the walls. There's like pipes channeled out. It just looks awful. There's like these old lady curtains. And so a gift for future me for this Christmas, when I, decorate that room for Christmas, I want to have it looking really beautiful and really cozy. And so I really, really enjoy that. I really want to write a book. I really, really do. I keep saying I want to. I am absolutely obsessed with books, hence why I have a book club. I've written a book before. I know I can do it. And if I want a book to be out in 2025, which is what Penguin were initially saying, I need to fucking get working on that now. I need to get working on it now. Something I thought about with my book is every night when I put my children to bed, they just take the piss out of me. I just have to lay there and will them to go to sleep for sometimes up to 2 hours. And this is called habit stacking, and it's something we learned in the book Atomic Habits. I've realised that I'm going to say to them, right, girls, I'm going to read you a story. I'm going to lay you down in bed, give you a cuddle, night, night. I love you so much. And now mummy's going to sit over the other side of the room. I'm still in here and I'm going to be typing on my laptop. And that would be a wonderful habit for me to get into, to use that time, to still be present for them, still be there. I'm not sitting scrolling on my phone, but I'm actually working on writing my book. Now, this hadn't really occurred to me before. So I'm so glad I reviewed my goal list to realize, oh, if I want to get a book written, this is maybe how I could do it. I could do it whilst my daughters are falling asleep each night. Maybe there are some goals that you recognize, wow, I'm actually on track with this shit. So one of my biggest ones for 2024 was to get fitter and to be generally more outdoorsy and more active, both with myself and with my daughters. And so that is something that I am going to continue on with. And this didn't pan out in the way that I thought it would. I basically thought that I was going to get fitter by going on my treadmill more and doing like Pilates. Turns out I fucking hate Pilates, but I did discover pole dancing recently and I absolutely, if you're on my Instagram, if you're not following me, what you're doing with your life, I'm at Francesca Amber or at Law of Attraction Changed My Life. I'm absolutely one of those people now that is obsessed with pole dancing. It is my happy place. It is my happy time. I go once a week for an hour with my friend Jess, and it honestly is the highlight of my week. I stood on my goddamn head last week. I stood on my head. Can we just comprehend that? That was something that this sedentary little bitch here could not have even imagined a couple of weeks ago. And so that fitness goal, an active goal, did not come about how I thought it did, but my God, am I fucking smashing it. Now, something else I love to do on the 1st of January is to make a wheel of life. A wheel of life is simply a circle where you write different areas of your life, such as your home environment, your physical health and fitness, your friends and family, romance, adventure, work, finances, every area of your life. And you mark it out of 10 of where you genuinely feel like you are. This is a great time to check in with that wheel of life. And if you have the workbook for the New Year's party, it will be in there. And reassess where you are. Now, mine has grown in all areas, but is that just because it's summer? I don't know. Is it because it's summer? Because I tell you what, as I'm getting older, I am learning that I really suffer from SAD. I massively suffer, and it seems to be getting worse and worse. And so some of these second half of the year goals are going to be gifts to winter me that will be in her season of sadness. So I'm planning a 40th birthday trip somewhere hot because my birthday is in February, and February is when my SAD is at its absolute worst. I am going to, like I said, get my sitting room done so that I can have an open fire in the winter and I'm super cozy, and where I'll be spending a lot of my time will feel really aesthetically pleasing, because for me, my environment really affects how I feel. So this is the great thing about just checking ahead and reassessing halfway through, is you can start to put wheels in motion for things that will be coming about in winter. If you're a mum, you'll know there's so many fucking winter experiences and Christmas experiences that get booked up like so quickly you can't even imagine. Maybe this is the time that you check in with those Christmas experiences and start to book them so that when they roll around, you're like, oh, what a nice treat for myself. I've got these lovely things booked in. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about making a priority or a theme for the year. Mine, as I said, was health is wealth. This is a great time to check in. Check in with your motto or your theme for the year. How are you doing with that? And be really honest with yourself. If you made that your priority for the year, there's a reason. There was a reason for that. And it's time to get a little bit tough with yourself and a little bit honest and say, this was a priority for a reason. Am I working on it as much as I should? And if I haven't even started, it ain't too late, bitch. We got 6 months of the year left. There is no time like the present. If you're looking back at your year and you're thinking, oh, I haven't achieved anything like really massive, I just want to take this opportunity to say that, number one, don't worry. Like, do not worry. Quite often, it is the small, everyday compound actions that make our lives rich and fulfilling. It is very rarely the big one-hit wonders. Although they're fun to look back at, they don't have a lasting impact on our lives. So looking back at 2024, at the end of this year, it won't be just that week in Barbados or the day that I was speaking at Happy Place Festival that will make my year great. It won't. Like, those moments will look great in a year roundup reel. Yeah, of course they will. But it won't be those moments that have made my year fulfilling and happy and me living my best life. It is in part, but the majority will be the way that I keep my home, the routine that I have in the morning, the pole class that I improve at every week and brings me so much joy, the bonds that I've built with my friends, the quality time I've spent with my daughters, the time I've taken for myself. It's all of those small daily actions that are going to build up and transform your life over the course of the year. So reflect, check off what you've already done, reassess, realign, and re-energize. I think re-energize is the most important word here, because honestly, having just done this myself and gone over my goal list for 2024, it really has reminded me of the areas where I'm like, oh shit, I'm really slacking in those areas. And it's really energizing to look at other areas and be like, I'm fucking doing it, man. Like, I am. Look at me swinging around a pole, holding my own goddamn body weight, having lost a stone, living my best girl, hot girl summer life. Yeah, I'm fucking smashing it. And it gives you the energy to continue and to improve more. So I hope that this has been useful for you. I hope that you find this energizing and inspiring, because I honestly did. It really spurred me into action on a couple of things that I was kind of letting just slide. Remember, most people will make New Year's resolutions on the 1st of January and they will have forgotten that shit by the 20th of January. Like that'll be gone. They won't remember it. Let alone taking the time and energy to check in 6 months later to check that you are still in alignment with your goals and your vision of where you want your life to go. Because just like a GPS, we can't just drive about blindly with the headlights off with no GPS, just hoping we're going to get to where we want to go. You're going to end up in a fucking ditch. You're going to end up in the ghetto. You're going to end up in an awful dick appointment you didn't want to go to. So if we want to make conscious decisions and consciously create the life that we want to live and create a really strong vision for our lives, it's important that we do regularly check in with our GPS. Are we still on track? Is there a better route to take? Do we want to take the scenic route? Check in, realign, and re-energize. 2025 is 6 months away, bitches. And for me, it's extra poignant because I turned 40 in February and I have made a promise to myself that I am going to turn 40 badder. I was going to say bigger, not bigger, badder, better, thriving, fucking flourishing, and better than my 30s, basically. I want to turn 40 feeling happier, fitter, healthier, more fulfilled than when I was 30, which isn't hard because I fucking hated turning 30. It was like, honestly, my Saturn returns was absolutely awful. So it's extra important for me that this next 6 months fucking work for me and they don't just slip away. And anyone who says that this is toxic positivity, respectfully, fuck you. I sit here in the center of a life that I have consciously created for myself, and it has enriched my life in so many ways. Of course, there are mistakes made, and of course, there are things that we learn along the way. And that's why at the top of this episode, I said it's really important when you tick off goals that you've achieved to really reflect back and think, did this improve my life? Or did it give me an empty, hollow feeling and actually I'm not on the right path? For me, continuing to work on my brand and my business that I absolutely love, to continue to create a home for my daughters and for friends and family that visit us is really important. To continue to work on my health and my well-being only improves my life every day. And so it's not toxic. It's about consciously creating a life that you love. And as I sit here with this life now, it's only happened because I took deliberate action towards goals in all areas of my life. And I had a clear vision of what I wanted my life to be. I hope that you found this episode useful. I hope that you found it inspiring. If you have got any value from it at all, do your girl a solid. If you could rate and review this podcast, it takes mere seconds. You just go on there, you tap the number of stars you think I deserve. You can leave a little review if you like. I do read them all and they move me to tears. Thank you so much for them. You can come follow me on Instagram. I am at Francesca Amber. If you want to see me standing on my head in a thong, I'm at Law of Attraction Changed My Life if you like to see inspiring Law of Attraction quotes. Or you can find me at francescaamber.com, where you can find my subliminals, my workshops, my book club info, and all that jazz. We are reading You Are a Fucking Success by Noor Hibbert in the book club this month. You ain't too late to join, by the way. You can come and join at any time. I have a new episode out per chapter. And we're really going back to like our manifesting roots and manifesting using her very unique method. And I'm excited because I realized the other day that I've gone through like a big metamorphosis in the last few years and I've manifested some really big things. But that was all kind of like a year ago. Like I haven't actually set myself any big, incredible goals for about a year, maybe more. And I'm really comfortable, like I'm in my comfort zone here and I'm really comfortable where I am. But actually it's time to like visualize the next level of my life. It's time to dream big. It's time to make shit happen. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you want to come and join us for that, if you want to make some bad bitch moves in your life, I'll leave the link for the book club down below. You can come and join us. Thank you so much for listening. Always a pleasure, never a chore, and I'll see you bitches next week. The Law of Attraction has changed my life. It's going to change yours too. Bye. Oh, by the way, I'm at Happy Place Festival in Chiswick next week. If you're there, come and say hello to me. Like, people always say, oh, I'm so sorry for like approaching you. Someone said that on the tube the other day. I went to Pride in London and she's like, I'm so sorry, I don't want to. And I'm like, I fucking live for this shit. Like, you people are my people. I fucking live for this shit. So please come and tell me about your manifestations. Come and tell me about your goals. I always love to hear it. I'll see you at Happy Place, bitches. Bye.